Welcome into the duginpod. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. I'm your host, Adrian Lewis, at H2K6 on all socials. Follow us at duginpod on all socials. I'm joined by Ben Weingard and Willie Icy Frozen, Mr. Veloth. We're going live tonight with Moon Knight. We're gonna review episodes 1 and 2, and we're also gonna introduce you guys to a giveaway. So stay tuned. But first of all, we're gonna get right into our Scott and Tomatoes segment. We're gonna review Morbius real quick. On a scale of 1 to 10, Ben, how was the movie? Tell us about it. Well, look, I don't have time for more Jared Leto in my life, okay? I appreciate the minutes that I have to lounge around and, play Pokemon Go all day. I think you're going to give it a low score, not because, you kind of been talking about it, but because of all the critics and all of the audience scores that's been coming in. It's got a 5 on IMDb, and it's got a very low critic score. So I think we're going to go low on this one. 4, a 3, 3.5, 3.5.
Just crapping all over the movie. And then my good friend Ben went to go see it. And you're pretty much, a movie buff yourself, Ben and Ebert. I think you'll be generous and give it a 4. Am I right or wrong?
You both are way more generous than I am. This movie was a solid 2 out of 10. It was absolutely awful. Terrible. I gotta be careful. My wife made me go. Huge Jared Leto fan. She might hear me. I gotta be careful. He actually really wasn't the worst part of this movie. It was just unoriginal, nothing new. You've seen it before. If you guess a story beat, I can guarantee you it's in that movie. Even the title card looked like it was from 2006. It was insane. I'm not kidding. It's bad. Then I sit through this movie. At least it was about 2 hours. Probably could have cut off a little bit, but whatever. It wasn't super long. We're not talking Batman levels. Not that Batman was bad, but thank God it wasn't that long. Then I sit through the post-credit scenes, and somehow that almost knocked it down even more. They were just in a front. They try to tie it up to, I'm going to spoil it here because if you didn't see Morbius, just don't. But they try and tie it up to the new Spider-Man, and they somehow get it wrong. It's awful. I can't say anything good about this movie except that it was technically a movie and it had a 3-act structure. Like, that's about it.
Oh no!
So this was made
Awful.
by your average middle school kid. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they took clips from other movies and just rewrote it with new character names, and that's about it. I mean, Matt Smith was a fun villain, but he plays every villain from every 2000 era, early MCU, pre-MCU movie. Jared Leto's fine, but he's Jared Leto, so either you love him like my wife or you hate him, so you're not gonna like the movie. Um, it's just wholly unoriginal. It was awful. The one thing I did notice though, and I almost have to disagree a little bit. My friend sent me a TikTok. The only name I see on it is Josh, and he pulls off Suicide Squad off the shelf. He's like, "You're free. Your time's up." And it's amazing that Suicide Squad, the original, not the new one, is slightly a better movie than this. It's crazy. At least they tried stuff. There's nothing new in this movie. Go ahead, guess something that happened in this movie. I bet you it's in it. Just think of any superhero trope you can think of.
All right, hold on. I'll ask you this:
Superhero
what-
landing.
what keeps it from being a 0?
Again, it was a movie with a 3-act structure. I will give it that. It had a story. It was easy enough to follow, and there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's it.
So the 2 baseline points, basically. So it can't get any lower than that. Every movie starts off at a 2.
Yeah, as long as it's a movie, like there's something to follow. It wasn't just random scenes together, which again maybe could have even been better. It was a story, I guess. And the acting wasn't bad. The other foil to them is pretty interesting. Like I said, Matt Smith, the doctor, I forget which doctor he is, but he's one of them. Plays the bad guy. He's great. He's chewing up scenery, loves it, but everything else is awful.
My goodness.
My goodness gracious.
Like, I had some high hopes because it's like, this is the point where, and I'll be quick because we got some other stuff to review, but this is the point where Sony could have established their universe separate from the MCU, because everyone knows like that's the only thing holding them together is the Spider-Man villains and the Spider-Man heroes. That's all they have.
Spider-Man is Sony at this point.
So even on the PlayStation games, like the one of the highest grossing games is Spider-Man. Like they have to do a good job with its property, or else people will start to ignore it, just like how we started to after the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And you're gonna have to reach out again, and Disney ain't gonna come cheap next time.
Better not, because this was ridiculous. There's a scene in this movie. I'm going to end it here because we can't talk about this movie anymore. There's a scene in this movie. Matt Smith like waits for a guy outside of a bar that he was getting in a fight with because he's the bad guy. He's going to go do bad guy things. I don't need to spoil it more than that. It doesn't really matter. And then in the morning, Tyrese is the main cop. He comes and he's looking at the crime scene. Then he looks at a wall. And not only do they show you the closed circuit security camera on the wall, they show you a giant red and white sign that says closed circuit recording in progress. Then he pretty much looks at the camera and says, "There's closed circuit recording here. We can get a video." And then it cuts. Like, what's the point? Like, it was just insulting. Like, it's just horrible. Let's talk about something good. I'm having flashbacks here.
Goodness gracious, man! I can't believe you sat through that.
Oh my god! At least it was only once.
For now.
Yep. It's a home release, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, of course, we're here to talk about Moon Knight. Moon Knight's been out for 2 weeks. Disney's been hyping it up. It's the next superhero. It's the first superhero introduction that we've had on a TV show, right?
I believe so. I think it is.
Depending on how we're treating, what's her name from WandaVision? Slip in my mind. What are they?
Rambo.
Yeah, right. Unless we're treating her and her character set like that, it really feels like, especially for like a big enough name from Marvel, like Moon Knight's a character that we've all been waiting for so long. I think this is a really big name to be putting in a show. Like, again, as we've talked about before we took our little break, these shows count. You better start watching them.
Yeah. You're gonna be behind if you don't. So, spoiler warning for Moon Knight going ahead. If you don't want to hear any spoilers for episodes 1 and 2, I'll see you later, Gators.
That's all right. Rough.
The accent is so bad. Anywho, how did you two enjoy the episodes? For me, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. First one set the premise of, he's got this identity disorder. Second one was had the action, had the comedy a little bit, had some resolution to what the mysteries were from the first one. So, how about you guys? What did you like about it?
Well, I liked it. I think it's heading in the right direction. The first episode I was really excited about. After watching it, it piqued my interest. I was like, okay, this is starting off how I wanted to. You kind of don't know what's going on, and then you kind of do. Then you see this guy that clearly has, issues going, and he's just all scatterbrained and wondering what's going on. And then episode 2, it seems like he's just super duper sketch, and I don't know. I'll elaborate later on, but he did get a little annoying to me. But I did like the episode overall. I think the villain is really, really good, especially in episode 2. Once you kind of figure out what's going on and why this is happening and who he is, I think it's gonna pick up here. I'm excited for episode 3.
Yeah. I would say, I know Will gave me a hard time being as down on episode 1, and I was interested in it. I really like what they're doing with the dissociative identity disorder and treating it seriously. It doesn't seem like a joke or a punchline. It really seems like it's part of the character. It seems interesting to see that on film. I know other movies have done it too. I didn't love the first episode, though. I thought the car chase scene was really bad. It seemed really out of place. The CGI was awful, and it really took me kind of out of it. I had kind of seen that before, and I'm like, I doubt it. And it looked really bad. But they kind of won me back at the end. They show the suit. That was really cool. And then episode 2 ramps up and kind of slowed down at the beginning. And I feel like we got a little bit more of the character. We got a few more characters. And then, you get a nice, decent sized fight scene at the end. And it really kind of hooked me there, especially that we only got 4 left. There's only 6 total. The one thing I think I agree with Will, Adrian, I don't know if you said this too, but that villain is excellent. And I like that they've had dialogue. We've seen them talk. I feel like in a lot of Marvel movies, you don't see that until the very end, Like Doctor Strange talks to a giant cartoon cloud. Like we're actually seeing them dialogue and talk and have that conversation. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think for Disney to get Oscar Isaac, and I'm forgetting his name. I'm sorry. I know he's super popular.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Thank you. Good God.
How dare you? How dare you?
Man, I'm struggling. I'm sorry, guys. Dug in pod. I'm sorry. Anywho, those two together are gonna make or break this show. They have to have good chemistry, and that showed in the first episode. Like you get the introduction immediately, and it's paying off already. Because in episode 2, they meet back up, and it's like they pick up right where they left off. So I think Ethan Hawke is amazing in his roles, and it seems like he's playing the cult religion guy pretty well. Like he's going through mafia style. Let me look at that fruit. Oh, that's good fruit. Good job. Oh, bless you. Yes, play soccer. Let me talk random Chinese to you.
Mandarin. It was Mandarin.
Yeah,
that was outrageous.
You uncultured swine. The most interesting episode, they're eating lentil soup, and it was enthralling. Like their conversation, you have Khonshu sitting behind him and talking, and it's like, wait, can he hear him? But he just knows him so well. Like, when have we had a villain that's this good, that's interacted with our hero so quickly? Even the strongest villains in the MCU, like even Thanos, like he doesn't talk to the villains or to the heroes. I mean, for most of the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. All the scenes in my mind are just fine. I know you knock it for CGI, but I'm not expecting top-notch CGI in any of these shows. If they get really good with it, then good for them. I mean, episode 2, the whole suit was CGI and it looked just fine to me. and the fight scenes were kind of goofy, but it was fine. It's a TV show.
I thought that suit looked disgusting. By the way,
which suit are you talking about? Because I'm talking about the clean.
Yeah, that suit. I thought it was disgusting.
Oh,
I don't know what. I don't know.
Goofy.
I was like, come on, man. What is that? Was that a platinum suit?
Yeah, well, you are.
I don't know.
Wait. Time out. You're colorblind. You're colorblind. You can't say anything
I like him
about
with I like him with the cape. That suit when he had on
the cape and the strings.
Yes, all that is cool. When he summoned the suit, and it was a damn 3-piece. Man, that's not even functional.
Look. That's the joke, though. That's why I was like, this show is like hitting all the punchlines. Like, he doesn't. Steven doesn't know. Like, you have all the personalities. You got Steven, Mark, Conchu. Steven doesn't know what he means by put on the suit. So he jumps out that window and bonks his head, and he just throws something on. And in his British ways, it's quite as exquisite.
I'm in the suit, yeah. You want me to get in the suit, isn't it?
But anyway, it's fun. That's all we're saying.
You can't take over my body, bro.
One thing I think too, just to talk about this episode too, that I'm kind of confused by. I don't know if you guys are too, or you can shed some light on it anyway. So they're setting up Layla as a character who they, are we spoiling it? Are we talking about it in depth? I'm assuming so at this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're in it. We already told them to go away.
We are.
Okay, good. So we set up it's his wife. So it makes it seem, and we've gone on missions. She literally says we've gone on missions, but then she gets in a fight with the dog. I know she can't see it. I understand that with the jackal, which they say 700 times in case you don't know it's a jackal. But she gets in a fight with it and looks terrible. Like, I understand, again, I know it's TV. I don't need them to be doing backflips. I know we're going to get TV fighting. I know, like you said, we're going to get CGI TV levels. But is she supposed to be part of his, like, hit squad or whatever? Because she didn't seem like a capable fighter enough. Are they going to set that up more? That seemed confusing to me.
So from my perspective, I was looking at it as like all the missions that they have been on, I think they were facing humans for the most part. And I think this is her first time actually kind of seeing the whole Egyptian god type of magic fights that he has to do now. That's what I was thinking.
The way that she was looking at the end of the episode was confusion, but like belief that, Mark could pull through. But like she I don't think she knew what was going on because she had to figure it out. She like took the water or whatever and threw it on the jackal and started attacking after that, but she didn't know how strong it was or what was happening really. So leave it to Mark.
I mean, the thing also threw her into a wall, so apparently she's probably been fighting some tough opponents. Threw her into a wall and she got up like it was all good. So
yeah, that's true. See, there you go. I guess I just didn't catch that part. Maybe I was just like hoping, I don't know, we got more Agents of Shields level type of like, I don't know, like a little more capable, but I guess she's a little out of her element too.
Well, look, I hope y'all did your Northeastern African history in college, because seems like we're going down the route of relearning all of this, because we gotta know our hieroglyphics. We gotta know our Egyptian gods. Like, I feel like this show is gonna introduce us, just like how it did with some other concepts of science and religion, and mix it up into the MCU. So, what do you guys think of that? How deep is this gonna go?
I'll tell you right now, I was not, like, I knew of the Egyptian gods, but I wasn't super well versed on them. So the show has definitely introduced two of them more in depth, and I've learned a lot more about Specifically, was it Amit and what's the other one? Khonshu,
Honshu.
Yeah.
and Amit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put up the Egyptian god family tree here, and apparently, Khonshu is some sort of judgment after the fact of something happening, and Amit is judgment after Osiris weighs her heart. So it's interesting how they're going to do that with our protagonists and antagonists. But then we're supposed to also get all 9 of the Egyptian god avatars in this show. So
I was going to say, as you brought it up, I really thought we weren't going to get more than these 2. That's kind of surprising, especially that we got 4 episodes left.
Yeah, I think they're just going to show up in like a scene in like one of the rooms or something like that. And it's going to be like arguments or weighing what is good, what is evil, or how do you determine good. That's one of the things that, I mean, I really liked about the show so far. They already got deep into like Minority Report status. Like, can you commit a crime before you commit it? How can you judge somebody before they do something? Yeah, a precog. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm weirded out by that, and I'm also thinking like that's a pretty evil. Like, why would you want to resurrect? I'm trying to figure out why he wants to resurrect it. I get the thing about making a perfect world with good people, but when you think about it, killing somebody for something that they would do in the future is outrageous.
Yeah, it's hard for me to fathom. It's hard to, like Oscar Isaac said, do you kill a baby?
Yeah.
For something that you're going to do 30 years in the future. And it's like, that's a good point. Like you bring out like baby Hitler or something like that. Like,
that's the thing though. And I think that's why, besides it's Ethan Hawke, and Ethan Hawke's doing a great job with his performance, I think the best villains that we've thought about in the MCU that we've liked the most, even if the execution isn't always perfect at the end, the parts that we always think about. So Thanos, for instance, is his method wrong? Yeah, of course. You can't murder half the universe, but is the rationale behind it where you can be like, okay, I see it. Yeah, sure, of course. Like he's trying to bring balance to save at least some form of life. You have Killmonger. Okay, my people were treated horribly for so long. Yeah, I kind of went way the other way, but what else am I supposed to do? I got to free my people. And then now you have what is his name in this too? They said it a couple of times. Ethan Hawke's character.
Harrow. Harrow.
Yeah, Harrow. Yeah. So Harrow's, it makes sense. It's like if you could stop evil before it happens, why wouldn't you? It's going to happen. It's predetermined. Versus clearly what Khonshu's saying is it's not predetermined. There's free will. So, but it's interesting. It's like, again, it's a good villain when I'm like, okay, I see their point. I don't agree with it, but I see where you're coming from.
Well, and MCU has a good methodology with this. Like they have a good track history with this. Zemo, he was really good with his methods of getting, both sides of the Avengers to fight each other, and he had good reason for it. And he's kind of like that morally gray person. Now we're cheering for him because he shows up in Falcon
and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I was about to say Captain America and Winter Soldier, but yeah, it's kind of like that character twist that you don't really see coming, but it's part of the human code. Like people are gray out there. You're not going to have a clear black and white answer for anything. So it's really nice to see and refreshing to see after we've watched like Batman and, all these other DC movies, and they don't really hold up to the gray area as well.
I think that's a good point too, because we talked about that a little bit after, seeing Batman with like Riddler and all. I guess we're going to spoil Batman here too, but that's been out long enough at this point. But Riddler's interesting at first because he's trying to show the corruption. He's doing the anonymous hacker group online of look at all this corruption, look at how great I am. And then it kind of just turns into, that dissection and argument of like Q and QAnon and shit. And I just don't think they landed the plane with it, where I think they could have been a little more interesting if they didn't force it so much. Even though they had something to say about it. I think this has been a little bit more slow build, slow burn. I mean, I'm sure we'll get big CGI fight at the end because it's Marvel and they've already kind of laid the claim to that. But at least I see that there's some kind of methodology behind his madness.
Yeah. And who's to think that Khonshu is right? Because apparently Khonshu wants to get his wife to take over as an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem right to me. Go find someone else that's worthy.
I'm trying to figure that out too, because y'all help me out here, because I've seen both episodes. Y'all have seen both episodes. Apparently, Mark is his avatar now. Why does he have to carry out all these missions, and then at the end of that mission, why does he need his wife to be the new avatar? What else would they need to be doing? Like, what is Khonshu's purpose?
Right. I feel like Khonshu doesn't want to.
Because he's pretty much he's punishing the bad guys for being bad, and Amit is punishing anybody who's done or going to do anything bad in the future.
Yeah, going to do. Like, that's the thing. And that's why the alligator scales are there, because that's what, if your heart in an Egyptian religion or Egyptian history,
and
it's like,
let's get on that. So we talk about Amit, killing children. What could the old lady in the first episode possibly have done in the future to warrant death immediately?
In the past too.
Yeah,
it's
it could have been
necessarily for both. My question is then, in this one, going on yours, how is Harrow who judges him when he murders random old guy who picked up the scarab for nothing at the end of this episode?
He's just a vessel.
That's going to be his excuse?
Yeah.
How is he different than Mark then?
And
he
then
thinks he's different.
You see he atones for what he does at the first scene of the show. He puts glass, crushes it up, walks all day, and he bears his weight all day long. So the way Amit works is Osiris weighs the heart. And if the heart is heavier than a feather, then you're going to be given to Amit to be eaten, basically. So that's what's happening with the scale. So I think Amit is just kind of like doing it because that's what it's always been doing. So it'll be interesting to see if they dive into that later on when all the avatars meet up and kind of start arguing about what is, what's right and what's wrong. So,
also the Haro, I'm going to have to rewatch the episode to figure out how to say his name right. But it would be Haro for now. He just whacked the old homeless guy near the end of the episode without the cane or Amit's judgment.
Yeah.
So, what's going on there?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So we'll see. That's the point. But
it's either he's got his own agenda or he's doing it like they sped up. Like we don't need to see the scales anymore. We know what he can do.
That was a weird one to kill a random civilian, though. I feel like that's almost a weird line to cross, that you can't just do that without him judging people.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe they just need to make him the bad guy and like just really sell it home too.
Yeah. So, moving on, we kind of touched on it before, but it seems like Disney wants to add religion to the MCU a little bit more. And we've got Miss Marvel coming out, where she's a Muslim kid, and it's going to be explored heavily in their show. This one's about Egyptian religion. You've had all the Russian callbacks to like the Boogeyman and stuff in other shows, and of course, we haven't seen it all the way through, but we're gonna have to dive into Christian faith soon, or a Jewish character soon. So, what do you guys think this is gonna go? Like, are they going to try to make it as normal as possible in these shows, like they did with science and the Norse mythology? This is a deep one. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think Marvel's pretty much been doing that. They've pretty much since the beginning have been including, different religions and stuff like that. Like even you go back to Black Panther. I mean, they've always had like African god mythology. Uh, like I said, the Egyptian mythology with Moon Knight and all that.
Yeah.
The Muslim thing. Marvel's always been pretty much inclusive of everything and everybody. So I think it's kind of just them continuing to do what they've always done and just bringing it to the big screen, so to speak. I don't think it's anything new for them to do. I'll say that.
I think the bigger thing that they're trying to do, yeah, they're being inclusive too with, the introduction here of, I mean, I guess Egyptian and ancient Egyptian gods, which aren't as well known, maybe. I mean, I guess they are, but not on the level of like your Roman or your Greek or I guess even Norse mythology, especially in the West here. But I think you're seeing more inclusion with, like you mentioned, we'll see it in Miss Marvel too, but that's a big part of her character too. But I think it's interesting too. We saw a little bit of an introduction of the Greek gods as the Eternals. It's going to be weird. Do we keep it going, like you said, with science? The Norse gods turned into science and aliens. Who was the other one you mentioned? Too? Well, the African gods too, and depending on how you look at it with Black Panther, how much is that tied into the real world too, or the comet that dropped all the vibranium? Like, how much did that add to not only their power set, but them staying alive in that other realm that, he travels to. But it's interesting to see them keep folding it in and just, are we just going to start treating it as more magic based now that we're kind of in that stage of the MCU, or, how faith normally is? It's just, there's no reason for it. It just kind of happens. The Egyptian gods can just do this. I don't need to know that Thor was an alien from a different world who can travel here based on physics. Are we just going to be like, okay, there's Egyptian gods and they do this, and don't question it, and you don't have to because I believe it.
That's a good thing about having Feige on, because he's already explored this with X-Men. Magneto, straight up, was from the Holocaust era, right?
Yeah.
So he's already got experience in kind of navigating this realm of faith and superheroes. So it's going to be very nice to see how he folds this one in. So, and how do you solve? Okay, didn't Apocalypse come to take the Power Stone? And that was Oscar Isaac. Nobody's going to look at Mark and say, "You look familiar."
I don't think that universe exists, and we'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We're gonna get what we want out of that one and move along.
Yeah,
that's all we need.
So before we get to the final ratings, the war between Amit and Khonshu, clearly they got beef. They were kind of poking at each other when in the second episode, and it seems like this is going to go down the route of a major face-off between the two avatars, and then the losing avatar will have to retake another avatar, right? Do you guys see any other way that this story is going to end?
Well, I'm thinking there isn't Hero trying to resurrect Amit.
That's what they're saying, but feels like he's got multiple plans here.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the whole point of him getting the scarab or looking for it, is to resurrect Amit. I'm trying to figure out, is Khonshu trying to kill? Well, obviously he is trying to kill Hero before that happens. But
I don't.
I'm pretty sure he will end up resurrecting Amit by the end of the season, and then it's going to be a big ass battle between probably all four of them. What I'm
Well,
thinking is going to happen.
I don't think he's necessarily going after Harrow. It's interesting because he could have at the end of the episode 2. He could have just went back and fought.
Well, that's what Harrow is saying. He said the only thing he can do to him is pretty much, um, like he can't physically touch him as the Egyptian god. That's why he was telling um Stephen, like, don't worry, this is pretty much all he can do. And that was the scene where they were walking into
Yeah.
the alley, and he was just kind of making the wind blow and stuff like that.
Yeah, hurricane force winds. Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that pretty much like he can't physically touch me. This is all he's allowed to do. So
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm thinking we get the just desserts of the character where Harrow thinks he's gonna summon Amit, and Amit obviously needs a human vessel or something and takes him over and kills him or something along those lines, I think that's kind of what we get here. He has to get his comeuppance in terms of not, going down this path. I think that's what we get.
Yeah.
And then your big CGI fight at the end.
Yeah. Agreed.
I do want to know how Harrow got out of being the avatar for Khonshu in the first place. Did they get into that yet?
Yeah, they mentioned it one line and then that was it. How did he break that without dying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
I figure death, if you're an avatar, death is the only way out. So, just like the anime.
peculiar.
In
Like the movie, like the anime.
Yeah.
Look here, bruv. All right. What's your final thoughts and what do you rate these first 2 episodes, like separately? So, like, we'll start with episode 1. What do you rate it? What's your thought on it?
I gave episode 1 an 8 out of 10. I liked it a lot, and it got me pumped for episode 2. Episode 2, I like that they explained everything, so I thought it was overall a good episode. Like I said, I think Mark is very, very, very annoying. Or not Mark, Steven. Isn't Steven the super skittish personality?
Yeah, Steven is
Yeah,
the timid one.
he was getting on my nerves, man.
He's the
bro.
Idiot, as Conchi would say.
Yes, let Mark take over before you all die. I can't do it. I can't do it. Man, if you don't transform.
Yeah.
How about you, Ben?
First one, 7 out of 10. Like I said, that chase scene really got me out of it. But I like the world they're setting up. I think I swung back around to an 8 out of 10 on the second one. I still need a little more. I still need a lot less Steven. But I'm interested. I'm gonna keep watching. We got to get a lot of setup for a new character like this. This would be, the first hour of a movie or hour and a half, almost hour and a half of a movie at this point. And they're at least giving us some more time to kind of play with him and understand who he is. Yeah.
And I give it about 7.5 on the first one. I think now that we had 2 episodes of Steven, we're probably going to get 2 episodes of Mark and then 2 episodes of a third personality or Concha.
Or just Moon Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, the superhero. So, I think the Steven days are behind us. I give it a 7.5, mostly because they had Nemo in the show, little fish with a broken fin. I was hyped.
Little Easter egg there.
Yeah, Disney layering their products.
Now we got to ask the question: is Pixar part of the multiverse? You know what I mean?
Ooh. Wait a minute. We gotta see the live action Pizza Planet truck though. That's what we gotta see.
Oh man! Don't tempt me with a good time.
Episode 2. What do you think? What's your rating? Will, go ahead.
I gave my rating a couple minutes ago. I snuck it in there. Episode 2, I give it I give episode 1 8 out of 10. Episode 2, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, the erratic behavior by Steven was just really irritating me. But as far as telling the story and kind of connecting some of the pieces of what's going on, they did a really good job with that. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right. How about you, Ben?
I'm flipped. I'm 8 out of 10. Like I said on the second one, it's way more interesting to me. I think they built the world. Like I said, need a little more, but I'm a little more drawn in than I was.
I'm gonna give it a higher rating than both of you, 9 out of 10. Really like the direction that they were going. I personally like the comic relief of Steven as an idiot. I kind of enjoy that. I like that they get out of the seriousness of what Marvel could be at all times. So, and they introduce a side character. His wife is going to be important at some point. Like, I really like that they introduced her within 30 minutes and had her fighting, and then have her, hold some key information at the end of the episode. So, I think the end of Steven arc is good for the show overall, and Mark's first episode should be a banger. So we'll see next week. But yeah, our next review, the Duggan Pod will review episodes 3 and 4 on April 20th. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna move on to our next topic: the new Doctor Strange trailers. I want Wanda to put a hex on me.
Hey. Whoa.
Hey, man. I don't know, man. Wanda looks amazing. It seems like her powers went up. Like she's been training in a hyperbolic time chamber. Her powers are through the roof right now. And then Doctor Strange looks good. The setup looks good. We're gonna get some true Chavez multiverse. It's gonna be so. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait a month.
It's so bad with me. I've watched the trailers probably 5 times each. Like I need Doctor Strange 2 to hurry up and hit the theater. I will be there opening night. I'm excited to see what America Ferrera is going to do. Is Wanda going to be evil in this one, like all the rumors say? I think she will. I think it's happening.
How about you, Ben?
I think we said it too. You said with the power creep of Wanda, it's in the show. Watch the show. I'm glad they rewarded us. Like, I'm just excited. I want to see where we go in the multiverse. We know what if's in it. We heard Patty Stew in it. What are they going to give us?
Yeah. If they give us Tom Cruise, it's go.
Man, hey, that was that episode 1 I called that on? Yeah. Talking about that one. I think that was my Babe Ruth shot back then. So I'm in, man. That's what I've been saying. That'd be wild.
Yeah. Oh, I want the X-Men for sure.
If we don't end the movie, I don't even care if they're in it. If I don't get it in a post-credit scene or something, though, what are they doing at this point? Why did you buy for billions of dollars all Fox just to get them back and then not use them still? Like, Feige, I know you got a plan, man, but come on.
Patience, young Padawan.
Patience.
See, wait.
Have you watched the last 5 X-Men movies? New Mutants was terrible. I've had enough patience. I'm over it.
Oh my goodness. New Mutants pissed me off so bad.
Oh shit.
Don't get me started on New Mutants, man.
Look,
that movie was abysmal.
Isn't New Mutants similar to like Moon Knight with the identity disorder stuff?
No,
absolutely not.
That would have been interesting.
Oof.
That would have made the movie better.
Still better than Morbius, but not by much.
I've been warned to avoid that series, so I'm not really gonna.
I watched it on a plane, and honestly, I messed up not watching Venom 2 on a plane, and I'm still pretty mad at myself for that. But That seems like the place to watch it.
Yeah. I turned Venom 2 off on my plane. I
Yo.
couldn't take it
Oh,
anymore.
gracious alive.
Yeah, dude, Sony's bad. Sony's down bad. Anywho,
Spider-Man, Sony, give them up.
so you were talking about the power creep of Wanda, but are we gonna get a power creep of Strange? Like, we kind of saw the trailer with the dude with Strange from the What If show. He's gonna open his third eye. I don't think our Strange knows how to do any of that.
We need
That's-
a power creep from Strange, though. I mean, he broke a universe trying to get people to forget a 15-year-old's name. Like, I think he's pretty powerful.
I mean,
yeah,
he's
Strange,
goofing
he's
around.
pretty much up there. Well, he's so powerful that he's screwing stuff up.
yeah,
I don't think he needs to be any more powerful.
We'll see. We'll see. I guess
Strange,
that's his
Strange being
personality.
super powerful is bad for humanity.
Yeah, his human defects are pretty noticeable. He's very impulsive and arrogant.
Hence you get Sorcerer Supreme, who's super evil and unleashed every monster from every cosmos onto everybody.
Yeah.
Destroyed the universe and What If.
Well, look, I'm hyped for the movie, and I gotta buy my tickets soon. And speaking of tickets, we're doing a giveaway next time. You have 2 weeks. Yes. Hey. To enter in this contest, you have to be a subscriber of our YouTube channel. You have to like the video and place a comment on the video. Winner will get 2 AMC tickets for any movie they want to see. They're the yellow tickets, so any upgrades, you're gonna have to pay that, buddy. We ain't at the status of the McAfees of the world or whatever.
So this is very, very humble beginnings for the Dug In podcast.
Yes. So if you're a subscriber, like the video, place a comment, you're entered, and we'll draw on April 19th, and we'll have a winner, and we'll announce it on the show.
Am I eligible to enter?
Look, I don't want no spouses. All right. I
I
don't
hate
want
it
to see. Look here. I don't want to see any of your names in our pool. Actually, let me ban y'all from this. Let me make sure I don't draw any variations of the Will Maxwell name.
This is BS.
Hey, man. Just make sure Chantel's out of it. She made my ass sit through Morbius. Get her out of here.
It's rough. So the schedule for the next couple episodes. So we have Moon Knight episode 3 and 4 review, and we're gonna do the giveaway. And the week after that, April, I think it's the 27th. Sorry. Once again, the NFL draft is on Thursday, April 28th. We'll be doing a live stream. And we all remember how it went last year. It was very disappointing for Dominic. And we sat there and watched it live. So we're going to do it again this year. We're going to do the whole first round. We're going to sit down, drink beers. We're going to be here on YouTube Live. So catch us and comment. We might switch over to Twitch too. So just look out for our social medias at duginpod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm your host, Adrian Lewis. Thanks for joining us.
Ta-ta, bruv. Isn't it? Yeah.